So, Brandon, can you start off by telling us a bit more about yourself, your background, what you do for those people who are maybe not familiar exactly with what you do?
Yes, so I am a mental performance coach. I'm not a therapist, I'm not a psychologist, I'm a coach. And so my job is to help people achieve their goals very clearly. And so I do this through a lot of techniques, but mainly what I'm doing is I'm working on the energetic body, which to a lot of people is gonna sound a little bit like woo-woo, but that's just the fact of the matter. What I'm doing is I'm going into your energetic body, I'm uncovering all your energetic blocks that are holding you back, and I'm removing those blocks so you can flow like water. And so I've been doing this for around 15 years or so. I got started playing sports, got interested in this field through playing college football, and that's just taken me on a hell of a path. You know, I've had some detours in entrepreneurship, but present day, I work with professional athletes. I work with people from the NFL, the MLB, NHL. I work with race car drivers. I work with business executives. I work with business owners, entrepreneurs, people all over the map. And I just help them quite simply achieve their goals and just feel good during the process.
Sounds amazing. What was the exact moment where you, let's say, decided that this is what you want to do? You want to become a mental performance coach and nothing else?
Yeah, bro. I would say the seed was definitely planted, and I could say that I knew this is what I wanted to do with my life more or less when I was playing college football. And I started getting into this world of mental performance through my own just curiosity of how I could get better. During this process of starting to see results for myself, I started to share it with my teammates. And I realized, wait a minute, I'm way better at helping other people than actually being good at my own sport. And this is the first time where something came easy for me. You know, I'm sure like I work with super high level athletes. I work with Division I quarterbacks. I'm sure when they were 8 years old, they were just throwing the rock and they were just studs from the beginning. Like that's how you get there, right? Like you have that natural talent. I never had natural talent in sports, but when I started to get into this field of mental performance and healing and work with people to make them better, it came easy to me. It was something that I was naturally really good at. And I was like, okay, I enjoy this. I'm getting the gratification of people telling me I'm good at it and them being helped and that nice cycle of being affirmed for it. And so from that point, like the seed was planted, like, I don't know how I'm going to make a living doing this, but this is my thing.
Okay, so you wrote this new book, Program to Fail. What inspired you to write that book?
Yeah, bro. So this book is a culmination of the last 15 years of learning and coaching in the field of mental performance. And it was a hell of a process to get here. The inner work to create this book was definitely a really powerful journey that I had to go on. And so I wanted to share this blueprint that was created through my work on myself, my work with clients, so more people got the availability to it. Because present day, I'm mostly working with professional athletes and people who are at a pretty high level in their selective fields. So most people don't have access to what I do. And so my idea behind this book was like, let me take like all the goodies that I give my clients when I work with them one-on-one and make it available. Because the book is two parts. The first part is the story, where you get to hear my entire like arc so far and how I learned everything I learned, and really connects me to understand like, okay, he did this for himself, he got these results, he gave it to other people, they got results. So it's kind of getting them to buy in and believe in the system. The second part is the actual playbook. The same thing I do with my one-on-one clients, you can find in that book. So if you can't work with me one-on-one, this book will give you the path to do the work that I would do with you one-on-one.
So is this book more for athletes or professionals, or is this book just for everyone?
It's for high achievers. It's definitely not for everyone. I would say it's for the 1% of people out there who want to be great and have had this just deep yearning desire to learn more, to be more. The seekers of the world who know that I got more inside of me, I just need some support pulling this out. It's for those people. And because I can tell you quite frankly, most people will not do what it takes to be great, right? And I talk about this in the book. How hard is it to get a six-pack, right? Like most people will never have a six-pack, right? I live in a country where 70% of the people are overweight. Not even close to that, right? How hard is it to become a multimillionaire? Most people will never get there. How hard is it to become a professional athlete? Extremely difficult. Most people will never get there. The same thing goes for this process. It's for the people out there who are willing to do the inner work to be great. Now, the good thing about this book is that it doesn't require any natural talent. So anyone can use this information to be great at their selective craft. But the truth is only a few people out there will actually be willing to do this work to become great. If that makes sense.
Makes sense. I actually read that I think 6% of the US have over $1 million or are making over $1 million, something like that. And only 2% have a six-pack. So if you want to make like $1 million and have a six-pack, you're getting to the 0.01% or something like that. I calculated. I think it's like 0.02 or something. So yeah, definitely. Why did you choose the title Program to Fail?
Because what I've realized about myself and a lot of my clients is that in many ways we've been programmed to succeed. And that's why we've gotten certain levels of results in our life. But in many ways, we have been programmed to fail, which means that at the subconscious level, so the hidden programming that's beneath our conscious awareness that runs our lives, we are programmed in a way. So we have software that's causing us to focus in a way that makes us feel bad or make choices in a way that lead to undesirable results. Because you ask anyone, right? The weight loss example is a great one for anyone. 70% of people in the US are overweight. Outside of the people who are like, I'm fat and I'm proud. Well, pretty much everyone else, like they don't want to be fat, right? So why don't they just do the necessary things to lose weight? Right? It's just a matter of eating in a slight calorie deficit for a consistent period of time, working out regularly, taking care of yourself. Everyone will get those results. They won't be overweight. That's just the most flat out simple science there is. But those people who struggle to lose weight are programmed at the subconscious level to believe something to be true that makes it more painful to change their behavior than continue their behavior. So an example of this could be, there might be, a single mother who is, she just eats what her kids eat and she's overweight and she's always stressed and she's just trying to struggle to get by. And she might believe that to work out consistently, eat right, she has to give up time with her kids. And so she's not going to sacrifice that. She won't sacrifice time with her kids to lose weight. Now, is it true that she has to sacrifice time with her kids? Not necessarily. But if she believes that to be true, she will make that true, right? Or someone might believe that eating healthy sucks, or it's boring, it's impossible. As long as you hold these beliefs, because beliefs are interchangeable with the software, right? Every belief is a piece of code in your subconscious mind. As long as you believe those things to be true, you won't feel the intrinsic motivation to take that action, to make the choice to get where you want to be. So everyone has these beliefs that they hold to be true, and they direct your life in a way that whatever you believe to be true, you are going to basically be on this path of whatever this true, this will put me on this life path. And you might have to change those beliefs to be able to take another path to get a new result.
Makes sense. Where do you think that programming is coming from?
So we have our biological program, that primordial programming, right? That we get in our DNA that tells our heart to beat and tells our stomach and intestines that digest our food. So that's like the baseline programming. And then beyond that, we have our programming that we pick up during this life. And so between 0 and 7, we're in our primary programming years. So we're looking at mom and dad, we're looking at community, we're looking at friends, we're looking at people around us. And we're saying, okay, if I want to survive in this tribe and I don't want to get kicked out, and being kicked out of your tribe biologically means death. So if I want to survive, I need to do what these people do. So whatever your parents, siblings, close friends, community, whatever you watch on TV, whatever was the default for what you grew up around, that's going to become your primary foundational programming. So we get a lot of it from that in the first 7 years of our life. We're essentially in hypnosis, picking up that programming. And then later in life, we pick up a lot of additional programming just through repeated events and really strong emotional events. So let's say later in life, well, it's interesting. I worked with someone yesterday and he believed that work sucked. And that came from his experiences of over 15 years of working. He had all these jobs he didn't like. So because he had multiple jobs he didn't like, he gained the belief that work sucked. But now he's at a managerial level where actually his work could be awesome now. But he still believed work sucked because of all these impressions he had and the repetition of negative emotion from previous jobs. So for him to have a new experience of work is awesome, We had to go in and we had to change that programming for him.
Interesting. No, I like it. So tell me, if you could share one concept from your book, like the most important, or like one message that you want to share that could benefit the most amount of people, what would that be?
Just the acknowledgement that you were programmed to fail. Because most people are just banging their head against the wall, being like, why can't I take this action? Why am I dealing with these negative feelings? If you can just step into the awareness that you were programmed to make yourself feel that way, that's the beginning of the journey. That sets you on the path to actually change things. And either you can do it through this book and the playbook that I present for you, or you can find a way to do it with someone else, because I'm not the only person who's teaching this type of stuff. So that awareness, right? It puts you on the path. And at the very least, I want people to read this book and gain that awareness. I want them to hear my stories of how I failed and how I reprogrammed myself to succeed and be like, oh, okay, I have those issues too around money, or I had those issues too around like self-worth, or I had those issues too in relationships. And so they can recognize and gain that awareness of like, okay, if he was failing there and he realized he was programmed in this way to make him fail, and then he changed it and he got new results, maybe I can do that too. So at the very least, I'm just hoping people step into a state of awareness, because that's the beginning of the path.
Yeah, I think most of us have at least at some area in our lives, right? Like we all have some kind of weird programming where something is not some scarcity mentality, some weird mindset that we have, whether that's sales, whether that's money, whether that's family, whatever, right? We all have our issues, and it's good really raising awareness about it. I like that message.
And the money is a huge one, just to put that in there really quick. Like, it's crazy that like I'll work with people who have very little money and their suffering is the same as my professional athletes or business owners who have millions of dollars. And it has nothing actually to do with how much money is in the bank. It has to do with their beliefs around money. Because I'll work with a guy, I'm working with a professional hockey player, and he's going through a transition in his career to probably retire. We'll see, it's not fully decided yet. But he was making his decisions initially around like, well, I don't have enough money. And then we actually got into awareness about how much money do you have, and looking at like how that would last him the rest of his life. And it's like, oh, you have more than enough money. And so what we realize is it's nothing to do with the rational. It's just like this belief of not enough money, which I think stems from the biological belief of like, there's not gonna be enough food, right? I'm not gonna have enough food to survive. And it's imprinted in us because I think the mind has a hard time really grasping that like, you could have this bank with money that'll allow you to keep buying food, because we're biologically programmed. What do you mean? Like, I gotta go get my next kill. And so the money ones are interesting because it really, like, our biology does not align with the reality that we're actually living in now.
No, interesting. I wouldn't have thought that somebody, I mean, I've heard, right, like that people with like a lot of millions, right, like have sometimes issues with money, but interesting that it's actually really the same concept, whether you have, right? It's probably always just in relation to it, right? Like, it's like, well, if you have a lot of money, you need or think you need even more. If you have very little, you think you need more. So this is kind of like, we're just like having enough is probably a mindset, right?
100%.
So let's talk writing, right? This was your first book that you wrote. What was some of the, I don't know, difficulties the challenges and surprises that you had while writing this book?
Yeah, I just had no idea what undertaking it was. It was a full year of writing and editing and all the details to actually get my book out there and published. So it was a marathon. And when I was in my earlier 20s, I had written a couple books, but had done everything on my own and hadn't really like done it as well as I could have. And going through like, I guess the proper process of like an editor and a formatter and like doing, I self-publish this book, but I also work with a full team to self-publish. And so like doing it the right way, there's just so many iterations that you go through to get to this final product, which I'm really happy about, because I think something I struggle with a little bit is I just kind of shoot from the hip, I just go. So I really enjoyed having an editor kind of pulling me back into it and being like, let's keep going through this again and again and again, and kind of going through it with a fine-tooth comb. So we got to a place where it's like, okay, this is as good as it's gonna get. Let's go, let's launch.
Nice. So the book is already available?
Yes, it is on Amazon.
Perfect. The book title is Programmed to Fail. Remember that, people.
Yes, sir.
What kind of transformation will the reader go through when they read your book?
So I would say everyone is probably going to get to a state of awareness around something in their life that they need to put more focus on, right? Just through my story alone, it's gonna push some buttons within you to look inward and realize that there are some areas in your life where maybe something needs a shift. And that's a good thing, right? Through that awareness, there's gonna be growth and you're gonna get an even better life. And then, like I said, there's gonna be a select few, maybe 1% of people out there are gonna actually go through the playbook, which is part 2 in the book. And when these people go through this book, and they do the work in there, they're gonna experience a 180 transformation because they're gonna get the tools to take everything that's made them feel bad in their life, everything that's held them back, everything that creates these like obstacles that live in their head and then manifest in the physical plane. It's gonna show them how to remove those obstacles, how to get into flow and to be able to just be present and peaceful and execute from this matter-of-fact way, because it doesn't matter who you are. When you're performing your craft, whatever it is, you don't want to be thinking about it. You just want to be boom, go. And you want everything to be from this place of not super high, just manically high, or super low. You want to be right in the middle. Matter of fact, almost like this place of like neutrality of like, I've already done all the work. Now I just go. I just execute from this place of just presence, knowing that my subconscious has been programmed to make me succeed.
Nice. You mentioned the book has 2 parts, right? So the first part is kind of like the story, the concept, and the second one is really practical exercises, correct? Could you elaborate a bit more on the practical exercises that the reader is going to find in the book? Is it meditation? Sure. Is it how does it resemble?
Yeah, I'll take you on a little bit of the roadmap that will go down in the book. There's different levels to training, right? Just like I would train someone one-on-one. The first level is just establishing a baseline. Because I don't know if the person listening to this right now, if you've ever actually like looked at the major buckets of your life and was like, okay, from 1 to 10, what is my satisfaction with my mental well-being, my peace of mind, my emotional well-being, that bucket, my physical health, my career, my finances, my relationships, and breaking this down into the subcategories of relationships of like my work relationships, my tribe, so friends, family, my romantic relationship, and looking at this and then actually identifying which of these is trailing behind the rest. Because oftentimes what happens is we focus all of our energy on the things that we're good at, the bucket that we're strong in, right? If I'm working with a business executive who makes millions of dollars, but his physical health is trash, he's like, oh, you know what I should do? Spend more time working, right? He's not going, let me spend some time working out, because it's uncomfortable going to those spaces. So the first step is just awareness. Okay, which part of my life is trailing behind? Because what you don't understand is that the area that's trailing behind the others is actually draining you of precious energy that could help you get better at the main thing that you want to focus on. So that first step is awareness. From there, or that baseline foundation awareness. From there, we get into awareness of how you feel. So I have exercises that I'll take you through to help you understand how you feel on a consistent basis. So you can actually reflect on that and be like, do I want to keep feeling this way? Could my experience be better? Because a lot of people are like, I'm fine. You ask them how they're doing. Yeah, I'm okay. You know what? I'm paying my bills, got a roof over my head, whatever, it's fine. But I actually make you slow down and feel your feelings and understand how it feels to be you in the present moment and whether you want to make a shift in the way that you're operating in your life. And so from there, I show you these exercises and help you train your focus to understand how your focus is connected back to your feeling and how where you focus creates a lot of the feelings that you're going to experience, both consciously and subconsciously. And so I show you that what you focus on is what you get. And that's a really, really important first step when you're starting to try to change your emotional experience. It's just starting at the conscious level to change your focus. So as we go deeper down this path, you're going to get to deeper levels of awareness. We start to purge out all the things in your life that are holding you back, starting with bad habits, bad environments, bad relationships, just removing, kind of like a detox for your life. And so I guide you through doing that in an actionable way. Then I help you get this clarity around, okay, what do you want now? What do you want? What's actually going to create the feelings that you want reliably? And I show you how you can get to a place of clarity around the outcomes you want in your life to give your subconscious this GPS that will tell your subconscious to constantly be looking towards and creating actions to get to that thing without you actually always having to consciously hold it in your mind. And so once you get to that clarity of what you want, we start to dig into the subconscious resistance. And so book is called Program to Fail. Now we're really talking about that baseline programming. We're going into the subconscious. We're finding the emotional resistance that lives in the body through the energy and finding out, okay, what's holding you back? Let's remove it, remove it, remove it. So I have these techniques I'll teach you to remove all that programming that's holding you back, that's creating resistance in your life. And then we take that same energy that's been holding you back and we transmute it so it works for you. And so we reprogram you. So we get rid of the old programming, we replace it with new programming that propels you forward because energy can't be created nor destroyed. So we take the energy that's holding you back and we now use it to propel you forward. Once you got all your programming aligned, now is where we actually start to look at habits and we start to see, okay, what actions do you need to take to align yourself with the life that you desire and that vision of yours, of the outcomes that you want? How do you get there? Through these actions. But a lot of people skip all those previous steps and they just go, okay, what do I need to do? But if you don't deal with the unconscious resistance, you're never going to do those things. And that's why that's almost the last step is what action should you take? And so we get you clear on the actions you need to take. We create a system in your life to actually take those actions so you're consistent with them. And then I set you up to play the infinite game of life where you're just going to be living in this cycle of flow where you're just identifying new visions you want to cast for yourself in your life, new goals you want to achieve, just experiences you want to have. And then we continue to just play this infinite game of uncovering the resistance and transmuting it to move us forward. And that's a roadmap I present for anyone who wants to go through it.
I've gone through those exercises myself, and just to reflect on that, it really helped me kind of have a technique to actually get out of my head, get out of my body, and just kind of like see myself for where I'm at. I mean, I've always been a relatively conscious person, but it's a very, very nice technique to actually get out of your own way in a sense. Yeah. So I really like this talk. Is there anything that I didn't ask that I should have asked? Have I forgotten anything to ask you?
I think one thing that you didn't necessarily need to ask me a question about this, but I want to tell people is that this book is about addition by subtraction. So I want you to understand that who you are is exactly who you need to be. You just have these broken pieces of code at the subconscious level you picked up through your life, and we just have to get rid of them. So you're already more than enough. You have all of that talent innate inside of you. We just have to get rid of what's holding you back for you to be able to fully capitalize on that.
I like that. My next question would have been what the final message is, but I think that's a very good final message to cap that off. Brandon Epstein, the book is named Program to Fail. Check it out, guys. Buy it on Amazon. It's a really good book. I've seen it already. Very nice techniques. Call Brandon if you want to work with him. Any other plugs that you want to do? Your IG, your YouTube?
Yeah, I mean, that's essentially it, man. You can follow me on Instagram, Brandon Epstein _. I'm posting on there. Just sometimes I share case studies from clients, share techniques, just kind of tap in. It's a way to get access to me. You can also email me as well if you want to work together. That's pretty much it, brother.
Okay, good. Brandon Epstein, pleasure talking to you, and I hope we do this again.
Thank you, bro.
Hey, have a great one. Bye.